Good day, and welcome to the Integrity Investing Network Analyst Room, April 23rd, 2026. I'm your analyst for this evening, Adnan Cartwright. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions or comments you may have within the chat. As always, our disclaimer, anything in terms of investing within the forex market, you do need to ensure and be mindful that it does carries a high level of risk. Past trades, past results does not represent that of the future when it comes down to investing within a specific instrument, leveraging a specified tool. Remember that investing carries high risk yet again, and that everything that you invest should be money that you can afford to lose, and everything should be done with your approval when it comes down to the execution of all trades. Remember, at the end of the day, you are the custodian of your own account. With the disclaimer now out of the way, let's get started with today's analyst room. Now, the last couple of days, we were looking at a few pairs, and we'll start off here with the GBP Audi. The GBP Audi in itself realistically was a scalp trade looking to get back to the highs of about 1.9000, 1.89 realistically speaking. We had shared earlier in the week that we were looking to buy off of the lows. So you had an opportunity here, you had an opportunity here, the wick, another opportunity, and then another opportunity here. This will make four, and then five, and then not quite the opportunity we're looking for, but nonetheless an opportunity for you to get off a buy low entry pushing to the upside. As you can see, we're still pushing to the upside now. Now, if you're leveraging the super trend tool, as you see here, initially the tool would have gotten you into the position right about here. This was the only signal that it provided for the entirety of the week. And right now, if you were still holding this trade, you will be up a whopping 25 pips, give or take a few pips in that regard. Initially, you did get up to about a maximum of 50, so if you were scalping anywhere between 40 to 50 pips, you would have pretty much gained an entry and you would have closed off with this trade now finished, awaiting another opportunity to buy low in order for you to pretty much get out of the highs, get out of the trade with the highs. If you did take the manual approach, you would have gotten in here. There's your push. So there's your 40 to 50 with that first configuration. Here's your second. There's your push. That's your 40 to 50, and so forth and so forth. This one did come back to the lows, and then it actually pushed. So you got out of the trade here. And then last but not least, with it coming back down, if you took this one here, you would be up right now about 37 pips if still live, but you would have gotten your 40 to 50 pips right here on the wick of this candlestick. So we have concluded the possible price action that we would have seen with the GBP Audi. It played out exactly how we expected within this consolidation range. We were just buying within the buy zone at a buy low, and we were just scalping to the top of that consolidation area. And so, with it being Thursday, we're going to hold off on trading when it comes down to the GBP Audi. This one, with the 3 to 4 trades, we can roughly say we had about 200 pips of opportunity here when it comes down to this one specific instrument for the week. So we are said and done with our analyst, with our with our chart analysis, apologies, when it comes down to the GBP Audi. The next pair that we had put some focus on was that of the NZD USD. Initially, we had looked at this in terms of the level of 0.5880, and we wanted to wait until price gets below it. We didn't get that action until realistically today. And so if you were an aggressive trader, you'd have identified the consolidation here, you would have taken the positions here, and then you'd have pushed down, and there's your 50 pips in terms of that one trade there. However, for those that did wait for the break, retest, and then the fall, this right here was your entry to the trade, and you're up about 20 plus pips right now. We have closed our position, turned the automation off, and so not the movement that we were expecting when it comes down to the NZD USD, but it did work out in terms of how we were waiting for price to fall back below 0.5880, and we got short in that regard. when it comes down to the NZD USD. This is the 30-minute time frame in terms of that one entry. If you were on the 15-minute time frame, you would have gotten this entry here, right below 58.80. There's your push. Again, 20 plus pips there. And then if you are taking a second position, current to live market, this is another 20 pips. So give or take about 40 pips at the end of the day when we had analyzed the NZD USD for the push that we pretty much got at this current time. So this trade has concluded. This has successfully moved to the downside below 0 to 58.80, allowing us to trap about, say, about 30 pips for the week, right? The other trade that we're also taking a look at is that of gold. Now, gold has been phenomenal the entirety of the week, and we had chosen to leverage the tool String Tracker Auto. We turned the automation on, and we just allowed the automation to do what it was pretty much programmed to do. And so the first opportunity that we got from within the week was the close of this bearish confirmed candle here within the sell zone. And then there is our push to the downside. If you're still holding this one position to current market, you're up about 9,446 points or 944 pips from one position within the gold instrument for the entirety of the week. So not bad in that regard. If you were looking to scalp, this would have been the first move you would have got in, locked in profit, utilized a trailing stop loss. This pretty much moved aggressively. So your trailing stop loss would have come into play and you would have got stopped out in this area here. So from there to entry is about 650 pips or 6,500 points. Your secondary entry would have been here. Maximum capability here was about 4,000 pips or 4,000 points, apologies. And so pretty much come back up and then right here to current market, another 2,000, say 500 pips available in terms of that opportunity. The last opportunity we had for the week for gold in itself was the close of this candle here, right here at the highs, which was beautiful. So got us in here, we pushed down and we're up about 1,000, say 500 pips, give or take a few when we look at the available um, spread and depending on who your broker is, etc. So three opportunities to sell gold in terms of the sell high that we were looking for, and we took advantage of that, and we pretty much are closed out for the day, pretty much for the remainder of the week when it comes down to gold. So three of the trades so far have played out exactly the way that we wanted them to play out price structure wise and the opportunities that we were looking for when trading this instrument. The other capability was that of the Audi NZD. So we bring this into play here. We were looking for this to continue to the downside when it comes down to the Australian against the New Zealand dollar. We wanted to leverage String Tracker for this one too as well. And you can clearly see here that we got the sell in terms of our push to the downside, maximum of about 50 pips or so. But the reality of it is that we would have gotten stopped out with a trailing stop loss with the automation. And those that are scalping, they would have gotten out and pretty much locked in profit based on the methodology that we showcase and we train people on how to leverage the software. Beyond that, String Tracker identified the bullish movement, and because we were looking to sell and sell only, we didn't get into this position here at all. So safeguarded when it comes down to being able to go to the south when trading this. And this is from the hour perspective. If we take a look at the 30-minute perspective, the last opportunity we had to get in was right about here. Nothing pretty much sing home about. You would have pretty much got stopped out here in terms of a close on opposite signal. So a 7 pip loss in that regard if you traded it from the 30-minute time frame with this last position here if you did not quickly protect. The other capability with this is that on this bearish engulfing candle here, you'd have taken the position. There's your push. You'd have gotten stopped out here for about a whopping 8 pips. So let's say 5 to break even if you had to close an opposite on. But if you didn't, you would have pushed possible 30 and you should have locked in profit in that regard rather than holding the position. So this one played out. Call this one a break even in this regard. It did net some pips, but you would have to pretty much be in a management or set the automation to manage it for you when it comes down to the trailing stop based on a specified pip value and or amount that you have within the tool based on those settings. So this one played out exactly how we expected it to play out when we were looking to go short in that regard. So that's the Audi NZD. The other pair that we had also taken a look at was that with the GBP JPY. So we'll come here with the GBP JPY, we'll come to the hour time frame, and then we'll take a look here at string tracker, with that being the tool of choice. And so at the beginning of the week, well, this was last week, apologies. This came down and then we came up. And so we never got that break of the trend line up until here, which was pretty much at the end of the week. And there's a lot of back and forward motion that is happening with the pair. If by chance you did take the position, and so right here, you would have taken it uh, in an uptrend, this is really unadvisable. And so no trade here, but if you did take it, a whopping 6 pips, you would have got stopped out here for about 24 pips with the, just take a look here to be sure. Yeah, you'd have been stopped out right here. So you'd have been stopped out for 48, so 50 pip loss right then and there, but you pretty much wouldn't sell in an uptrend. And if when the trend line broke, this is the break here, we were looking for it to come back and test. So initially, the rule of thumb is that when a trade that we review we're looking for the trend line in itself as it goes up. We're looking for a break to the downside, but we're not looking to get an entry on the first break to the downside. What we tend to do is come back and we look for where we would have past support now become a future resistance, right? And so this broke, came back and test, and pretty much didn't move in a direction where we would see like a pullback for us to get active in. Even if we take this down to a 30-minute time frame, it pushed to the downside, never really changed colors for us to get into the trade to go short. If we take here a look on a 15-minute time frame, pretty much the same thing, right? We got the break, all right? So right here would have been the break. You got it, came back up, and then right back here, I wouldn't even count this as a position two as well because it's still above the trend line in that regard, back into the buy zone. So it had to close below 215.14, 215.10 once we round down, and we would have gotten short. But the bears were in such control here that it never switched from strong bear to a weak bear and back to a strong bear. That would have triggered the position. Or from a strong bear to like a weak bullish or even strong bullish, and then back to a strong bear, and that would have gotten us in. So we are not active on this position. We did not get active on this position. So 0 pips when it comes down to the GBP JPY in that regard. If you were an aggressive trader, yet again, from the hour perspective, you did get stopped out without a shadow of a doubt. The only way that you would not have gotten stopped out is that you intentionally turn the close on opposite trade off and you got in here, and then right now you're up 10 pips. So again, pretty much a drawdown of about almost 60 pips to get 10 pips at the end of the day. If you're looking and you're still holding this position, not worth it in my opinion, right? When it comes down to the JPY. So we're still waiting for that retest, which we seem to be getting now. We're not going to trade tomorrow. We're going to allow the market to run the way it needs to run, and then we'll revisit how we're going to approach the market on Sunday after the open. Initially, when we do analyze the market, so we tend to pretty much be flat when the weekend comes so that we can have some sense of ease, not worrying about positions that we have within the market unless we know for sure it's going within a specified direction because of some economic or fundamental news that has been produced. All right, so that's GBP JPY in a sense. So those trades, those four specific trades, actually five with the Audi NZD, we had taken a look at. We had a very profitable week in terms of what we had set up on Sunday and Tuesday. And we encourage you, if you want to go back, review the live recordings that we did early in the week, see how we analyze the market and break it down, thus giving the results that we're pretty much demonstrating and showing here. Feel free to do so. The videos are within the library in YouTube, and if you have any questions or any inquiries that one may have, whether it's about the forex market or the software that we produce, you can reach us at CS Charlie Sierra or customer support at integrityinvesting.net. And if you have one of our tools and you need any support whatsoever, one of our helpful staff will be more than happy to assist you with helping you get the tool and software set up and to pretty much help you in terms of understanding the settings a whole lot better. And that can be reached, they can be reached at technical support, TS at integrityinvesting.net. All of the information will be within the details of this live video section below. As always, it has been my absolute pleasure in being your analyst for this week. My name is Adnan Cartwright. You all have a blessed and wonderful weekend. Enjoy your loved ones. Take care and be safe.